Yellow, everybody. So today I wanted to do a little video about big cubes or bigger cubes. I've done mostly 3x3 videos so far, and I just wanted to touch on kind of my opinions on the 4x4s and 5x5s that I've come across so far. So my first 4x4, I bought this right when I got my first 3x3, was this Chi1. It's been in a bunch of my videos. The next 4x4 I upgraded to, this was non-magnetic, non-UV coated. I UV coated it. It turned out really nice, but it turns great. It's a great puzzle to solve, just on the cheaper side. Great for a budget puzzle. Then I took the big leap to GAN, which was like the one of the more expensive 4x4s, and that was kind of a letdown. I mean, it still felt nice when I got it. I was impressed, with the magnets and everything, and coming from a cheap cube like this. But still, then moving on, I found much nicer cubes after that. So these are actually in order from my favorite to my least. And I'm just kind of going in reverse order because this is the way I got them. I finally ended up with my favorite cubes towards the end, so this is why I ask you guys to leave me comments and suggestions for cubes, because it's taking me a lot of cubes to find just that glass slipper. And I know that's a very personal opinion that everyone will have, but I really value everyone else's opinions and your knowledge and experience that you can offer. So please leave in the comments below any suggestions you guys have, favorite cubes, and why, if you can. But so back to the cubes here. So this was my second cube. This MGC was not my third cube. I actually got this YJ Mini, the Jisoo, and this is a 56 millimeter. That's one of the reasons I love it so much. It's only like $17. A lot of people kind of didn't have the best reviews, I guess. People didn't love this upon initial release, but that could just be because of the size, who knows. But this is a great cube. This was the only cube that's non-magnetic. Everything else in here is magnetic. No, I haven't added any core magnetization kits to them. I would like to, but I don't even like taking apart my big cubes. But so I'll get to that. But these are all glossy plastic except for this one, which was matte, and I UV finished it. But all the rest are glossy. But yeah, then going down the line, the MGC is just, it's a bigger puzzle. As you can see, that have the Moyu Aosu and the YJ Jisoo right here. And you can see going from 56, I believe this one is 59, and then I believe these two are 60, and then this one might even be like 61. But considering it's called the GAN 460, I'm guessing that one's for 60 millimeters. But yeah, so I personally, though, we're talking about performance and everything, and everyone likes to say for this price point or whatnot, but I'm not even talking about for the price. This thing performs just great in general. I feel like the YJs tend to corner cut a little better, which corner cutting on big cubes is really hard to get a good corner cutting cube. So that's a lot to say about a cube in general. This thing has a lot of flex to it. I don't know how else to explain it, but the cube is very flexy without feeling like it's unstable. It's flexible, so it gives you a lot of room for when you're doing algs. I can feel it corner cut. I can feel it, give me a little bit of leeway when I'm doing my moves. So again, this probably would be my main if I had to make one choice. Second would be the Moyu Aosu. This is my favorite of the bigger sizes. The turning on this is unreal. I mean, it just feels so nice. It's really hard to even compare anything else. I know a lot of people like the MGC, and I personally, I love the MGC 5x5 a lot more than I like the 4x4. It might just because this is a newer puzzle to me and I haven't had time to fall in love with it yet, but hopefully we'll get there. But so yeah, YJ Mini, the Moyu Aosu, the YJ MGC, GAN 460 and the Qi one. And again, favorite two right here, next favorite, least favorites. And that's just my personal opinion. Price points, this one, like I said, was around 17. I want to say this one's around like 40, and then you have MJ back down to like 20. GAN around like, again, $40 or $50, and then this one was like $8. So just shows you it, for money doesn't necessarily tell you what kind of product you're getting. I've found some of my favorite products are on the lower end of the price spectrum, and I've said this in my other video, you'd think that, you know, you get what you pay for, but sometimes it's just preference. So wanted to give some of my opinion. So that's 4x4s. Let's get those out of the way. So now let's get to my 5x5s. I have the MGC, which I said, like, I like this a lot more than the 4x4. It has that nice bubbly kind of feel to it. The pieces, you can see them are slightly bubbled, but it has a really smooth turn to it. This thing, it's like the algs that you can spam on it just feel great. The layers just turn so nice. The magnets are a great feel. The outer are a lot lighter than the inside, which makes it so when you're turning your outer layers, you know, you're not bringing these middle layers with it. A lot of times, if they're the same magnet strength, then, you know, it'll pull 2 layers when you go to turn just one, which no one wants that. That's gonna make it hard to solve accurately. But yeah, this was my favorite 5x5 for the longest time. And then came along the Moyu Aoshuang, which this had a funny story too. When I wanted to get this, I found out the mold for making it at the factory was broken. So everywhere was sold out, and this was actually only available for pre-order. So I had to do a whole bunch of waiting, and so I'm just glad that this thing lived up to the hype, because I probably haven't waited so long for a cube yet. But yeah, this thing is great. I feel like this and the 4x4, these are 2 cubes that I feel like are so well representative of each other. Like the 4x4 feels a lot like the 5x5 and vice versa, where I don't feel like a lot of other cubes you can say that about. I mean, you can say they feel similar, but not the same. Like I honestly feel like this and the Aosu are very similar turning styles. Oh, you can see those magnets. They do not want to sit straight. That's pretty cool, actually. Strong magnets. So this I would consider my main. And again, if you go in order of size, you know, these 2 are my favorite. This one, just because it's a little smaller and the turning feels a little nice, but I probably get better times on this one. So this, like I said, this is what I would call my main. The MGC is a great backup, so I love having that. But this is the Meilong 5M from Mofeng Jiaoxi that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and I personally love this thing. It was a gift from my family. I think it was bought so discounted online or something. It was like my first 5x5 at all, and I just remember when it came, I was like, wow, this is surprisingly nice. And I got really used to it, and then I ordered more 5x5s and realized every other 5x5 on the market is pretty much bigger. I mean, there is the YJ Mini 5x5, which is probably one of my next purchases. They have a 58 millimeter, I believe, because this is a 56 millimeter 4x4, and I believe their 5x5 is then 58 millimeters, which this is a 60 millimeter. So I'm just kind of curious, something right in between there. Are the pieces going to be almost a little too small to accurately turn and move your layers? That's one of the things you have to think about with your bigger cubes, is you have to be able to slice a single layer over and the smaller the pieces get and the smaller the cube get, the harder that becomes. So yeah, I have wondered about that a lot, because I love this 4x4 mini so much that I wonder if I would love the 5x5 mini as much. But I just worry because this is on the smaller side. This is pretty much perfect. So anything smaller, and I'm just worrying it might be a little bit too small. But oh, maybe that'll be my next video. I'll have to get that and check it out and let you know how things fared. But put this back over with the 4x4s. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, these are all magnetic, lightest magnets for sure. This thing has very light magnets, but that's part of the appeal to it. It doesn't have a big strong click. It doesn't have a profound feeling or anything, but the magnets are there, and I can't emphasize enough how smooth the layers are when you're turning this. And everything else, like I said, this has a little more of a bubbly feel to it, and you can definitely feel those little pointed out on the 4x4s. This is something I've noticed. If you see that in between the pieces, right at the edges, they don't actually touch, and you can see that's true for every single piece around. And what it is when you spread your pieces apart, the pieces actually have kind of a notch cut out, and you can see it right there on this left piece. There's just a slight notch cut out, and that makes them not touch on the tips there. And I'm a firm believer of that's what gives this bubbly feel, is because you have a less surface area. Instead of a big flat square piece rubbing against another big flat square piece, you have these round kind of mounded pieces inside that I'm sure that's what's lending to that bubbly feel as you turn the MGCs. Because as much as it's not as profound on the 5x5, it is there. So yeah, but this is just a little bit of my insight coming from a new cuber, but this has been my experience getting into 4x4 and 5x5. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything last thing I should add in there, but that's about it. You guys have a great night, and please, again, in the comments below, leave your favorite cube, big cube, 3x3, 2x2, spaceship, I don't care. I mean, you know, honey bear cube, whatever you think of. What's your favorite puzzle and why? And if it sounds good, I'll give it a shot. I'm always up to a challenge. So yeah, thanks guys, and have a great one.